Welcome to AI ConvoCast, where we bring you the latest in AI and tech innovation. Quick housekeeping. Check out the affiliate links in our description. Using them supports the show, and please don't forget to rate, review, and share if you like what you hear. Let's jump right in.
Today we will be covering OpenAI making GPT Four-Oh image generation free for all ChatGPT users, a new OpenAI Codex model running on Cerebras hardware instead of Nvidia, Google shipping a major upgrade to Gemini 3 DeepThink for science and engineering, and OpenAI dropping the I/O branding for its Jony Ive hardware device while confirming a 2027 timeline. Let us jump right into it. OpenAI made a big move on February 12th by expanding GPT Four-Oh image generation to every free-tier ChatGPT user worldwide. Up until now, if you wanted the advanced image generation capabilities inside ChatGPT, you needed to be on the Plus plan at $20 a month. That gate is now gone. Every ChatGPT user, whether free, Plus, or Enterprise, can access native image generation directly in the chat interface. And this is not just a simple unlock of what already existed. The rollout includes improved prompt adherence, meaning the model does a better job of actually creating what you describe. There are also integrated image editing tools built right into the ChatGPT interface, so you can tweak and adjust your creations without leaving the conversation. On top of that, OpenAI says generation speeds are now 4 times faster than before. This is one of the largest free-tier expansions OpenAI has done since GPT Four-Oh originally launched, and it puts direct competitive pressure on services like Midjourney, Adobe Firefly, and Stability AI, all of which still gate their best features behind paid subscriptions. Early reactions from the developer community praised the improved editing and speed, though some raised understandable questions about how sustainable the compute costs are when you open something this powerful to hundreds of millions of free users. Either way, this is a pretty aggressive move to make high-quality AI image generation accessible to everyone. Also on February 12th, OpenAI released GPT 5.3 Codex Spark, and this one is notable not just for the model itself, but for what is running under the hood. This is reportedly the first OpenAI Codex class model that does not run on Nvidia GPUs. Instead, it is optimized for Cerebras hardware. For those unfamiliar, Cerebras makes a fundamentally different type of chip for AI workloads. Rather than using clusters of individual GPUs like Nvidia's setup, Cerebras builds wafer-scale processors, essentially one massive chip designed specifically for AI computation. The fact that OpenAI is now deploying a production model on this architecture is a meaningful step toward hardware diversification. GPT 5.3 Codex Spark is a variant of GPT 5.3 Codex, which itself was released just a week earlier on February 5th. It is positioned as a coding agent capable of writing features, running tests, and answering questions about codebases. The release follows the macOS Codex app that dropped on February 2nd, so OpenAI has been on a rapid clip with its coding tools. Developers online were particularly curious about how latency and cost benchmarks compare to the Nvidia-backed version of GPT 5.3 Codex. If Cerebras can deliver competitive performance at lower cost, it could reshape the economics of running large coding agents at scale. For OpenAI, reducing exclusive dependency on Nvidia gives them more flexibility in negotiations and supply chain planning, which matters enormously given how tight the AI chip market has been. Over at Google, February 12th was also a busy day. The company rolled out a major update to Gemini 3 DeepThink, positioning it specifically for solving modern science, research, and engineering challenges. The update builds on prior Gemini 3 refinements from December 2025 and represents Google's continued push into reasoning-heavy workloads. DeepThink is the extended reasoning mode within the Gemini 3 family, designed for problems that require multi-step logic, complex analysis, and sustained chain-of-thought processing. Think of it as the model taking more time to carefully work through a problem, rather than giving a quick response. The update description from Google's model documentation states it has been updated to solve modern science, research, and engineering challenges. Early impressions from developers on Google's forums highlighted improved multi-step reasoning and stronger math reliability, which are two areas where these reasoning-focused models are constantly being pushed to improve. This puts Gemini 3 DeepThink in direct competition with OpenAI's latest models and Anthropic's Claude Opus in technical domains. Integration is expected across Google Cloud, Workspace AI tools, and the Gemini API, making it available for both individual researchers and enterprise teams working on complex technical problems. Now shifting gears to hardware news. OpenAI confirmed on February 11th that it is dropping the I/O branding for its upcoming AI hardware device, the one tied to the Jony Ive acquisition. The clarification came through a court filing related to a trademark dispute with a startup called IYO. You may recall that OpenAI acquired Jony Ive's hardware startup back in May 2025 for $6.5 billion, and there had been speculation and early references to the device using the IO name. That is now officially off the table. OpenAI VP Peter Welander addressed the change, stating that OpenAI reviewed its branding strategy and opted against the IO name. Beyond the branding update, the filing also provided a clearer timeline for the device itself. OpenAI now expects it will not ship before the end of February 2027. Details on what the device actually is remain somewhat speculative, but reporting has pointed toward a screenless AI companion device, with some speculation around earbuds or a wearable form factor. The 2027 timeline tempers any expectations for near-term consumer hardware from OpenAI, but it also confirms the company is still very much committed to building a physical product. Navigating trademark disputes while developing entirely new hardware categories is complex, and this kind of branding pivot is not unusual when companies are working through legal and strategic considerations simultaneously. It will be interesting to see what name they ultimately land on and what the final device looks like when it eventually ships.
Thank you for listening to AI Convo Cast. Please don't forget to rate, review, and share if you like what you hear. Thanks and hope to see you again next time.